Hey, good afternoon. It's Cheryl Anderson, and welcome to the Secure Woman podcast. Today, I want to talk about how you can like him and still pay attention when something doesn't quite fit. One of the hardest things about dating isn't noticing when something doesn't fit, it's noticing it when you really like him. Because once we really like someone, once there's chemistry, an attraction, a great conversation, or that feeling of possibility, it becomes very easy to start interpreting what we're seeing through the lens of what we hope this could become. And that's what I want to talk to you about today, because you can like him and you can be attracted to him and you can be excited to see him again and you can still pay attention. When you like someone, you can start explaining. Maybe he says something that doesn't quite sit right with you. Maybe there's an inconsistency. Maybe something about the way he talks about a former relationship catches your attention. Maybe his actions don't completely line up with what he's telling you. And then almost immediately we start explaining it. Maybe he didn't mean it that way. Maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe I should just give him the benefit of the doubt. And sometimes those explanations may even be true. But here's the important part. You don't have to explain away information in order to keep getting to know someone. You can simply notice it. And I mean notice it without judging. This is something I think women sometimes get wrong about discernment. Paying attention doesn't mean you're sitting across the table with a checklist looking for reasons to eliminate somebody. And it doesn't mean one awkward comment or one imperfect moment means, well, that's it. He's not my person. We're all human. We're gathering information. That's what dating is. We're learning. Who is this person? How does he communicate? Is there consistency between what he says and what he does? How do I feel when I'm around him? Can I be myself? Do I find myself becoming more relaxed as I get to know him? Or am I increasingly try to manage the connection? You don't have to make all of this mean something immediately. Just notice. And you don't need to know where it's going. I think one of the things that makes early dating unnecessarily difficult is that we start trying to answer a question we couldn't possibly answer yet. Where is this going? Now, you had a wonderful date, and suddenly you're wondering whether this could become a relationship. Or you notice something concerning, and suddenly you're wondering whether you should end it. What if neither decision is necessary yet? Maybe the only question in front of you is, do I want one more date? Would I like another hour or two with this person to learn a little more? Another date isn't a commitment. It's another opportunity to gather information. Let's talk about attraction and discernment and how they can coexist. And this is really what I want women to understand is you don't have to become suspicious in order to protect yourself. And you don't have to become oblivious in order to remain open. There is a place in the middle, and you can enjoy him and observe him. And you can feel chemistry and notice compatibility. You can hope something develops and remain interested in what is actually happening. And you don't have to choose between your heart and your discernment. So let's bring our attention back to what is real. When you notice something getting ahead of you and ahead of the relationship, come back to the person who's actually sitting in front of you, not who he could become, not the relationship you could potentially have, not the story you're beginning to create. Who is he showing you he is? and give him time to answer that question through his behavior. You don't have to rush him. You don't have to test him. You don't have to interrogate him. And you don't have to figure him out. Time will give you information if you're willing to pay attention. So the next time you find yourself really liking someone, I want you to remember this. Liking him doesn't require you to stop listening to yourself. You can be excited. You can enjoy the butterflies, and you can hope he calls. You can look forward to seeing him again, and you can still notice what fits and what doesn't. You don't need to decide what this relationship will become. Just stay present long enough to discover what it actually is. You can like him and still pay attention. And sometimes that is exactly what it means to stay with yourself.